First, before I hop on here, hey, I know everybody should think the part. Wait, let me do my intro. I never finish my intro, but anyway, hey everyone, welcome in. Whether your dirt will come in during this live or you listen to the replay, I just want you to know that I appreciate you. Appreciate you for being here. If you don't chat or leave comments, and you're silent, I still appreciate you very much. Never know what this live turns into. It's always something. We always talk about various things. I know somebody came in last night asking what the chat was about. We usually always talk about, a lot of things. Hey, Cherry. Today when I was scrolling through Instagram, I saw something that said somebody that asked a question like they said to write a poem about it, which I don't know if I will. I might. I won't. I'm not. I don't know. It seems like every time try to write a poem, like set out to write one, I get writer's block. I don't know why that happens. It just stops or whatever. But it said write a poem about if you knew you only had one last time to look in the mirror. I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting to think about. Having the last time you're gonna like see yourself. Um, okay, sweetums. um, if it wasn't for your message and me refreshing the page to kind, it wasn't giving me. That's so messed up. I hope I remember to keep on telling you because that's really messed up. Jesse, I don't understand why. It's like I don't get very many people in here that could at least notify the people that want to be here. But it was saying if you like I said, if you could look at yourself in the mirror one last time, what would you say? And to write a poem about it. And so, like, I was like, wow, that's for me. It's big because these last couple of years, I really haven't um looked in the mirror hardly ever anymore. Like, hardly. I don't do it very often. Like, only like when I'm putting on makeup or um like that's pretty much it. I don't do it unless something's in my eye or whatever. And I used to do it quite often. Um, so yeah, it's kind of weird. Um, how's everyone's night? I'm okay. Jesse, try unsubscribing and resubbing. Sometimes it helps. I can't even double tap to like. I have to click the three dots to go click. Oh, really? Isn't that interesting? Okay, I'll try that. I never had this many problems. So it updated, yeah. Um, so I tried to like set out and have the question in my head and figure out what I would write or whatever. I think the biggest thing that I got out of it, which I would say no, sweetheart, sweetheart, you're worse than me. No, sweetheart, sweetheart says she would say peace out to the mirror. We out of here. Oh my gosh. Um, oh boy. I know when people read the title, they're gonna be like, "Your last time would think something way different." I'm sure, but it could mean so many things. So YouTube better not slow my channel down. But oh my goodness. But I thought about a lot of things, and maybe I will like construct a poem if I remember this, because I always forget about topics I want to write about or whatever. But I think one of the biggest things that hit me when I thought about this was when I would look in the mirror and see how much I resembled like my mom or my dad. And you guys could put in if you want to, how you feel about it if when you think about it for a few minutes or whatever. But how I would resemble my mom or my dad, and I would get shocked, like, oh no, you know, am I gonna be like them because I look like them? And I never felt like I should have. I wish I would have felt, and I hope I do when I do look in the mirror and I do resemble them. I wish if what would have felt their strengths, instead of their weaknesses. I wish I would have just felt, because regardless of whatever we went through and all that stuff, and a lot of stuff wasn't their fault. A lot of stuff was, but a lot of stuff wasn't. Regardless, we've got out of so many things, and it had to take strength for them to do it. And I wished I would have been proud of my reflection then instead of scared of it. Or, you know, so I hope that since I came to that and I can look in the mirror again and stuff like that, I hope that in the future that could reverse for me where I could say, okay, I look like them and know what strength they stood in, even though everything was always chaotic. So it was sort of like a sad thing for me, but also a good thing because it's like it's something I could work on, and I do want to, as I age and as I look at situations, I do want to have some of the positive things stand out, and not just always the horrible, horrible, horrible things. So that was kind of intense because you do when you think about your childhood and even adulthood, you do blame, especially when like we went without so many things that we didn't have to, and then you think about, well, look at how their parents were and what they didn't give them, and yes, they could have made different choices on some things, but there was a lot they couldn't. There was a lot they had to work with what their brain gave them, what their past gave them, and um, like I said, despite it all, they were still some strong, strong, strong people. Like the generational trauma, yeah. There's generational trauma. There's mental illness. There's just a lot of shit. And all I thought was, oh, I didn't want to be like them. I didn't want to be like them. But I also like the toughness, the not being scared, not being scared, never backing down, all that stuff I got from them too. That helped me survive a lot of situations. So, yeah, it definitely was a big thing. But I also look at how I never looked at myself and thought, oh, I was beautiful or oh, I was pretty or whatever. I could look at myself with makeup on and stuff and feel like, oh, I did my makeup good. But I'm not looking at myself like, oh, I'm beautiful. I'm just like, oh, I could do makeup good. That's just so fucked up because of just what everybody has told me. And like I said, I've always been called beautiful and pretty, but I also been criticized because, like I said, I'm sure nobody was talking about my height or anything like that. But when they called me Andre the Giant, I mean, about my face, they're always talking about my height or my body when I was called Andre the Giant. But for me, I thought I was being called that because of my face and stuff. And, but nobody's ever called me ugly. So I don't know. If you could choose to be born in a different family, would you have? No. That's one thing. Now, choose if I had a choice of being born, that would be a no. I would not want to be born again. But I don't care how much fucked up shit I went through in my life, I would choose my family again every time. I don't care if I wind up not talking to half of them and all that stuff. But especially with my parents, I would choose my parents every time. And like I said, we went through pure hell, and they could have done way better and everything. but I would still, if I had to be born again, choose the same family. And I mean, with some siblings, no, I think some siblings I could definitely have done without, but some I couldn't, and parents definitely I couldn't have, I would want every time. Same with me. My sister looks like my mom, and I look like my dad. They're the pretty ones, and I'm the smart one. Oh, don't, sweet. I'm sure you're pretty too. The haters, yeah. Same when I would still choose my family, yeah. My mom and me had similar traumas because she held me so tight. I rebelled, and it was the same with her mom. I just look like my mom, so we think. So I just look like my mom, so we think, but everyone else says I look like my dad. Yeah, I know with me, I think I look more like my mom, but I definitely see my dad in moments too. Um, what are you laughing at, Chair? I don't even know if I said something funny or somebody else said something funny. I, I would still pick my mama and dad, even my siblings, regardless of the traumas we all suffered. Yeah, and I feel the same. Besides a few siblings, like I said, I would be able to deal without them for sure. Don't want anything to happen to them. Blah blah. I mean, all love from a distance, but no. You look like dad. Yeah, I'm sure there's times that you looked up like mom too. Saying about yeah, my rebellion came from seeing all the other kids always be able to do anything they wanted to do, and for some reason, I couldn't do shit. I don't know why I was the only one, but like after I started seeing my sister that was younger than me, start being able to do whatever she wanted to do too, and nobody said shit. That was it for me. I hit the streets and never came back. Like I was out. Oh my gosh, when I decided to do that, I was just running the streets, and it was not good though. I did, drinking and just could have got myself in so many bad situations and get dicking myself in a few horrible situations. And then, you know, so 16 to signatures by 17, I just had my own apartment. And then it was all, yeah, you left at 16. Not you about looking like you don't know if you don't ever. I don't know. I think you probably do. You have. You couldn't do anything. You're talking about how things were. Of course you couldn't do anything. You were a baby, a toddler, and all that stuff. Not. I don't ever. When I talk about family and what has happened and stuff, I don't ever think of my younger siblings, or even the younger sibling that could do stuff. Wasn't her fault that she was allowed to do stuff. I was just wasn't allowed. I'm like, fuck this. I'm about to be free. And I always hung around older people, and they are just gross when I think back and realize how the older people I was chilling around, and everybody knew my age and stuff, and they're just gross. They're just really gross. I would never be able to chill around somebody that was under 18 if I was a certain age, and expect them to be like the same, doing the same stuff and everything they were doing. No way. So they were just some gross individuals. Even when wasn't a toddler, silly. What do you mean? You talking about that's what I meant. I couldn't do anything. Oh, you're talking about you were restricted too. Yeah, I think you mean like who you grew up around closer in age. Yeah, You're talking about just restriction in general, yeah. My older sibling, younger, got treated better and with less rules. It drove me nuts, yeah. For me, it was like I said, everybody they got. I don't understand. It was like like I said, I had a twin brother. I had an older sister that was a year and a half older, and it's like we all got jobs together, and it was like when I would get paid, they would be taking my money from me, but when they got paid, we got paid on the same day. Everything they just got to spend their money, and I would always get my paycheck taken away from me. I just didn't understand how it was just like you're gonna do this, um and I would just question it, like, why am I the only one that gets treated like this, but never got any answers. I guess because I was a softie and I wasn't gonna say. I don't even ever think they asked the other ones for money or whatever, but I'm sure they knew I wasn't gonna say no. You can't do this. I mean, one time I did say no, and that was about it. But yeah, I always got the treatment like, okay, if you don't get something, you'll be fine, and that sucks. Yeah, I wasn't talking about. I don't even talk about when I talk about growing up or whatever. I don't see you as like like when I say other siblings. I'm definitely not talking about you because like I said, you were at toddler age when all that stuff was going on. So of course you couldn't have the same. They ain't gonna. You're not gonna be trying to run the streets. You're a toddler. Well, who knows how you were a toddler? But no, I don't think about oh it's unfair. You know, yeah, but definitely just the ones closer. But yeah, I don't care how. As much as I want to ever let anybody talk crap about them besides the family, it's like anybody in the outside. It's like you can't talk shit about my parents. Like I always defended them no matter what. Uh, so would you guys did you guys think of anything that you would say to yourself besides Sweetums peace out? Like if you looked in the mirror, or it just you guys didn't nothing came to mind. Jerry, don't you be going outside your diaper? It really. Uh, Dad wouldn't let me go check the mailbox alone even at 18. I know what you mean though. Yeah, he was way more protective. He wasn't, and then like I said, the going out it wasn't a protective thing for me. I never got that type of thing. I just got was a rule and you're gonna abide by it. So that's another thing when you see like how he sort of changed for you and stuff, which was a good thing, but also not too much varied. But I definitely saw a change. He softened when it came to you, and then he softened even more when it came to the grandkids. You would say it's finally overcome. How do I find? I'm telling you, how do I find something that those usually would be my comments that you and Sweetum said, and then I was like, no, let me look for something else. And you guys, you guys just said what I would usually say. I worked on him. Yeah, you did. That was true. You didn't give him a choice. I would tell myself, hang in there. You're strong enough to endure more, and you will come out stronger. See, that's a good thing. That's good, Jesse. Um, and I don't like that. Anybody feels the way they do, what they've been saying, but it's still something that naturally comes to you. And like I said, I think I have a lot of that too. But I don't know why it just was something different for me this time. That's not how I feel. So what's not how you was, and that's not how I feel. You don't feel like wait. Oh, nothing positive. Yeah, and I don't think I do for the most part either when I think about it. I just thought that it's hard to pull out something positive, but the only thing I guess I could pull out positive was when I did view myself a certain way, like looking like mom or looking like dad. I could change that situation a little bit in my mind and say, okay, you could do this differently. Now, if it was just me thinking about myself directly and not having that little part to it, I don't think I would have been able to say anything good or positive. I mean, I really got into some dark stuff when I was thinking, but I was like, and then my lips never touched by somebody of truth, just by sick and bastard people, like I really broke down some angles where I was like, oh shit, maybe I don't need to be doing this. Maybe I don't need to be trying to construct a poem on this. So it did get dark too, but I guess wanted to talk about the angle where I was like I could change something in that. I need to show you something. I felt my arm burning. You must look at it. What the heck? Yeah, wait till after I get off live. Yeah, maybe your butt needs to go see the doctor. See your primary. I know whatever's on my elbows messing with me. I just feel so. I had my grandbaby a little bit for today too, and he was not having me today. He was so grouchy. He was didn't want me to hold him, anything. He was just trying to pry himself out of my arms. How do you know? Oh crap. Okay. Well, that sounds scary. Yeah, today's anniversary date to when one of our houses is burnt down to the ground. Isn't it great how these days? Now I gotta. I'll be right back, you guys. Now I gotta look at this. I said wait after. Now the thing is gonna pause for me to look at this. I think. Oh boy, I hope I don't click myself out. Hopefully I can come back, but I want to see what this is. If it does click out, I'll just come back with a new video. You guys will come right back. But like I said, it would pause. It should just pause. Make sure you tell people I'm just looking, but and I'll be back. You guys there still? Are you guys there? Let me know. Hopefully I don't gotta start over again. Okay. When did that happen? And you sure you didn't do it for sure, 100%. Your butt ain't coming over here no more. Bring that thing. No, I'm just playing. What the hell? That's crazy. Cause I'm sure you didn't do it. Yeah. Was it when did it happen? Like did you wake up with it or just like during the day it was like, "Oh, here it is." Oh, fuck. Wait, you cut out. Try talking again. Can you hear me better? Um, you think that's crazy? You gotta get some. What? Within the last 30 minutes? What the heck? That is not good at all. You need to get some clarifying crystals up in there. Forget labradorite. You need more like clear quartz and whatever that other one is that I always get when stuff happens. You need some of that. I always forget selenite or something like that. And that's just something playing off of some of your history too. I know you have it, but when something I always get some it new when something new comes about, when something newer happens because it's like something new coming in is better than having what you already have. What you already have has stuff on it already, if you know what I mean. When it comes to crystals, it's already absorbed certain things, so getting a new one helps usually because it's new. Do you have a charging plate that has that made of that? Have you touched anything new or brought anything new into your home? You also visited here too, though. Was it yesterday? And this place doesn't have any good energy, as we know from the what was it uh dang it. Yeah, that could just be there because you are. But remember what was happening to uh your son. You know, he was getting all scratched up and everything too. Yeah, that's what it seems like. It's like, come do these things again, you know. Have you been able to set anything near the window when there's a full moon or anything to cleanse? Because you haven't brought anything old in there or like antique or anything, right? I would still get something new. That's a practice I always have. Hey, Mrs. Augustine. Thank you for coming through. I mean, if you want to do it, or instead of me trying to find labradorite for Christmas for you, I could find a thing. Unless you just want labradorite and you want to buy the other one. Because I still haven't got anything for Christmas for you. I hate that my nose is stuffed just from the dryness of the air. No, there's nothing that comes out of it or whatever. Same thing with my throat, it's just dry. Like Gina says, dry. But I'm glad I don't have a cold. But it always feels like, because it always feels like it. I know it's allergies too, because I'm sure this one allergy pill has probably lost its strength to it of me taking it every day. You guys, there's not many people in here, but you guys want to do the three emojis of the day of how you felt? I get bloody noses from the dryness a few times a day. I hate these radiators. Yeah, the radiator heats are definitely, I feel like the worst kind of heat, but we don't have that here. I just think it's the stuffiness of my room. I never could open windows because the windows are so stupid, and we had to tape them up and make them airtight because they're just old and falling apart, and no screens on the outside, so a lot of spiders were coming in. So I couldn't even open a window if I wanted to. But if you guys don't know what the three emojis are, we just do three emojis of how our day went, and then if you want to explain it. But if you don't want to explain it, you can say, yeah, I don't want to explain it. But I'm going to do my three emojis. So I'll just go first. Mine are always gonna be the first, always gonna be there. The painful life I have to live with chronic illness is horrible, and it never goes away, not even for a minute. Then the second one is the angry, grumpy face of what my grandbaby was doing to me, and he was just grumpy. He didn't want to be held. He just wanted his mama, and he did just not care. He bit me. He was trying to pull out his hair. He just was not having a good day. And then the third one is just the pondering, the thinking about what I would say to myself if it was the last time, I looked in the mirror. So that's how my day went. Um, Justice is crying and emotional from family members, drained from being overwhelmed and overstimulated, tired from only getting 3 hours of sleep. Yes, girl, I feel you on that one. Cherries is crying, ghost, and I think yawning. Oh, is it yawning? Wait. Yeah, so you're gonna explain your cherry, which we probably already know what it is. But yeah, I got my grandbaby. He was so grumpy today, and he leaned his head against me. Right. So usually when he leans his head against me, he's usually either fighting sleep or just giving me a little bit of "oh, I love you" type of sign. Doesn't It's not very often, but he does do that sometimes. So I'm like, oh, he's leaning against me, and then I'm like, I felt a little pinch. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe something folded on my skin or something when he laid on it that's pinching now. And so I'm sitting there taking it, and then when he pulls away, he's pulling away my dang dress in his teeth, and I'm like, this he bit me. He just bit me, and he was trying to get it to pull out. I couldn't believe that. So now I gotta watch out for his sneak bite attacks. Well, shoot, my bad day sounds like a catwalk compared to you guys. Oh no. Said because of, yeah, the mom's really demon get me, yeah. Exhausted now, my evil. Oh, yeah. Um, yep, he straight up bit me. And he'll go and try to grab my fingers and bite them, but Sneak attack. Well, compare we can all have bad days from different reasons. Yeah, exactly. Getting paid from player. Oh, Sweetums. Sweetums was away. You said you were away for shopping? Um, she got some lovely scratches on her that just came out of nowhere. More than simple scratches too, you guys. It's not just like, but that's fine, Sweetums. Not her birthday, uh, Jesse. Right? No, not her birthday. I mean, talk about right. Some negative person's birthday. That's the same for me though, but not the baby daddy. That's what I say. December is just uh bad month. And then for some reason my insurance isn't covering some of my damn medicine, even though I got back on it. So um I still got to pay out of pocket for this one medicine, and that's a lot when you don't have any money. That's okay, Jesse. But yeah, this month is just, it really feels like the movie. What was that movie that they should make another one of that I thought they did and they didn't? Where the vampires were in Alaska and it was for the dark days. That's what this winter feels like, because it's never, you hardly ever see it light anymore, and then the December is just like the worst with all the anniversaries and birth dates and all that stuff. Like, my nose will not. I'm so stuffy. Is it 40 days or 30 days? 30 days a night, I think. I think it's like 30 days a night. I gotta watch that again if I can find it on something. That was a good movie. My bad month is April. I feel like it's never going to end. Yeah. And sure enough, just winter alone is just so much more harsh. But today, like you said, when we lost a house, one of the houses to fire, we lost a few. Not totally, like the other houses just got certain parts on fire. This one it started in the attic, so it basically uh burnt the attic up, and that, once if you have a fire in the attic and how much water that it takes to put it out, that all trickles down to the house, so there's all smoke and water damage, so it was through anyway. That house was done anyway. It was a piece of shit. But still, when you have a home and then you just lose it all of a sudden, it pretty much sucks. But that was today, you know. Yeah, you were there. You were probably, let's see. That was, so you were two or three? Two or three. But yeah, it was like at 6 or 7 in the morning, and my dad said he went outside, and it might have been a little later than that, but he said he went outside on the porch because he was on the first floor, and he said he smelled barbecuing, and he didn't think anything of it. I'm like, who would be barbecuing in the morning? But yeah, he didn't think anything of it, so he went back in the house. And then a couple of minutes later, there was some people banging on all the doors for us to get out of the house and stuff. And that's the only thing that saved us. I was on the second floor sleeping. I didn't smell anything. So now I get scared if I smell the slightest of anything, because it's like, how do I not smell a whole damn floor above me on fire? You know? It was so much back in yeah, yeah. That's what I say. I said December. If I call out the days on what happened and stuff, you would see why December is so dark. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what would have happened if those strangers didn't stop because I didn't smell any smoke or anything. I was straight up knocked out. I was watching my nephew, so I know I was just exhausted from watching him, but still, I didn't smell anything. And then when they knocked down the house, it was like a scene to like a horror movie because my best friend lived across the street from us then. Let me try to. Okay, so she moved across the street. So when they were bulldozing it down, I could see them, and I talked about this before. I know I did, but uh, we had the clotheslines in the back, like when they had the two. I don't know if you guys were too young to remember, but they used to have metal rods in the back that were at the shape of a cross because one way would be in the ground, and then there would be a bar across for the lines to go across. So it would look like a big old cross in the backyard just for clothing lines, because there was everybody hung up their clothes in the back, and So hold on a minute. I'm gonna mute myself to try to get this congestion gone a little bit. Hold on. Did that work any? Well, I don't know. There's nothing to blow out. I'm literally just blowing air. So that was in the backyard. Bulldozed everything. Wait, let me make sure you guys can hear me again. Can you hear me again? Who's Jens? Oh, okay. You don't know how. Siri, are you saying Jens like who is Jens as a person? You don't get it when she says what you don't get what she says when she means Jens Cherry. Oh, it's just like slang or whatever you want to call it for yeah, um it's just like for you guys or I can't oh that's funny. You get it now? But what was I saying? Oh, so those were back there. So when the house was bulldozed, I was just watching it slowly, and it was just like I was in just I don't know why I was stuck watching it. And they bulldozed one part, and it went to the metal bars, and a fucking big ass doll head just stuck right on top of that pole. So that's all you see. All I'm watching is the bulldozing of the house and the doll head just looking at me. Like it stayed on the whole time and still until they started clearing stuff out to the dump truck. It was just so crazy. It's just like we couldn't really get anything out of that house. We lost everything that was in the house. So it's just like you're seeing all your stuff being bulldozed away, the clothes and all that stuff. And then this doll head just is looking like, haha, look what you got, bitch. Like it was so messed up. And I don't even know what doll, I don't know who had that doll, but that doll head was huge to make. I don't know where it came from. It wasn't just no regular little doll head. It was a big old doll head. So yeah, that made the day way more eerie. What caused it was somebody was smart and put a lovely gasoline lawnmower in the attic, so that had gasoline in it, and just sparks probably from because that house was infested by rats or whatever. Just rats probably chewed away wires, so wires got were sparking and sparked enough to hit that, and that started the fire. I'm sure it would have been on fire without the gasoline too. I'm sure, but the gasoline didn't help it. It accelerated it fast. So yeah, I love a big old. Every time I think about it, I think about that big old doll head. Then we got put in a hotel. I think we were in the hotel for like a week, and then we found a house pretty fast though. But starting off with nothing. So, oh Gino, you're so lucky you got out with that being on the floor. Exactly above you. Exactly. Yeah, I love being paranoid about smells because of fires. And like I said, that wasn't the first one. That was the only one that did a total. The house was totally gone. We couldn't go back. It was uh, boarded up and everything right after the fires. But there had been several before that would just be in certain rooms and everything. So, yeah, that was, like I said, that was the only one that was condemned right after the fire. Yep. So I always get freaked out by smells when I'm always asking my dad, "Do you smell it? Do you smell it?" She's always like, "No, you're tripping. No, you're tripping." It's like good thing she didn't know what one smells like after being that in her life. But it does get frustrating when somebody doesn't understand why you're sensitive to smells. Why is my nose doing this? It's horrible. Yeah. So I got epilepsy, so I always smell burning, and I forget and panic that something's on fire and wake John to check the whole house and outside, only to realize it's me. I need my emergency meds. Oh no! But at least he does it. If I'm told, I've never been around somebody. Anytime I think something, they're just like, "Oh, you're tripping." Not, "Oh, let me go check." I would go check. Shit, I would want to go check. I hate that I can't go check. And then in the summertime here, they're always burning something in their backyard. So it always smells like a burning house. And it's really horrible because it's like, what if one day you just assume they're burning their little fires and it's really the house burning?